All right, we got a big week. These are times that are exciting for coaches and players. Rivalries in college football make things special. Certainly, this one has gone on for a long, long time, and in the short amount of time that I've lived in our state, understand how this state galvanized around Cowboy football, and it's a big event. So we're certainly excited about playing Colorado State. It'll be a great afternoon in War Memorial Stadium. So at this time, open up to any questions. And we have some questions, I guess, that are online. Bob, you're from Associated Press. You have a question?
Yeah. I guess things are pretty not so good, going so good right now. How confident are you that this will be the I guess the bottom of the worst things can get?
Well, you know what, you can, Bob, you know, I can tell you this, I've coached a long time, and what you do as a football coach, you get your football team ready to go and get a bounce in your step, and you look at the positive things that you do have and put your team in position to have a chance to win. And, you know, I think we've gone through a couple tough road tests here. I do think that there's a silver lining. I think we have one of the best running backs in America. I firmly believe that, and I've seen damn good ones, and I think Brian Hill's excellent. We had a young quarterback that came in and went into a challenging situation, made some good plays. Defensively, we had been playing better up until last game, and typically, Bob, it's been my experience when those players are competitive and they have not played well the last time, they're going to bounce back. So I can tell you, come at 4:30 this afternoon, when we go out there on the field, our coaches and our players are going to be excited about playing this game. So that's my statement to you.
Thank you much.
You bet. Okay, at this time, any questions from the audience?
Craig, you guys see Cam listed as or. Can you give us an update on him?
Yep, I'll do that. I knew that was going to be the very first question from the group here. You know, he's got range of motion, Robert. You know, we're in hopes that, you know, I've seen those guys progress pretty fast. Right now, I would say you can count on Nick playing, but what I did not want to do is mislead the group here to say that Cam does not have an opportunity, but it'll be later on in the week we'll know a little bit more. So, but he's further along than where he was. But, you know, at this time tonight, Nick's going to get all the reps.
Is Gentry still a no?
No, he's no-go. Yep.
Coach, it's beat the sheep week, so do you feel like emotionally you have to reel these guys in because it is the big rivalry?
You know what? There's no doubt that this is a special football game. We're going to acknowledge that. I think the very first thing that we need to do is build on some of the positive things that we did against Utah State, and there are some, but there's a whole lot of corrections. And so before we even get focused on Colorado State, I think we got to correct our mistakes. We got to mend some fences here because defensively that was a poor performance. And for us to have an opportunity to win in this game, we were going to have to play good defense. And last Saturday night was not a real showing of a defense that I feel like we have. And so that's going to be our first objective. And that will be addressed this afternoon when we go through the film session. And then as the week goes along, you know, certainly we get into an intense game plan with Colorado State. I think, you know, we'll need to make sure that the guys recognize that beyond all the hoopla, there is a football game that's going on, and be really focused at the task at hand.
Craig, when you looked at the film defensively, what are some of those areas that need to be corrected that really stood out when you looked at the film?
Well, I think, first of all, our Utah State did a really good job of attacking our perimeter. When I say perimeter, Robert, I'm talking about the back seven, whether they're cornerbacks, strong safeties, nickels, or safeties. And we needed to play well in the run game. We needed to play well in the pass game. And both of those were, I say deficient would be not even accurate. I mean, it was poor. And so our coverage skills need to improve. Placement and guys in position to tackle needs to improve. Assignments need to improve. And while Colorado State's offensive scheme is different than Utah State, there's elements that are similar. And we've got to get those things addressed. Now, I can't tell you we're confident we can. even though a guy's young out there, and I won't say a bunch of different names, but those guys are competitive, and they've had an opportunity to make plays in college football games that have been good, and we were deficient there. And so we're going to address that, and then I think we got to build on some of the positive things that we did. To rush for what we did against Utah State, we can use that. We can leverage that. We're going to need to do that as well this week.
Yeah, you mentioned the rushing. I know Colorado State doesn't rank super high as far as rush defense. Do you feel you have some opportunities this week? I mean, obviously with Brian Hill you do every week, but even more so maybe than normal.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think any time that Brian gets the football, he's got an opportunity to get some yards after contact, and we'll need to leverage that. Now, how many carries he can get, I don't know. I mean, he had an awful lot last Saturday or Friday night, but for us to be successful, we'll need to run the football effectively and move it on the ground. That's not to say that we're going to be one-dimensional. We won't throw the football, whether it's Cam or Nick, but for us to have an opportunity to win, we'll need to run.
Coach, what have you seen out of that CSU defense and even their offense, for that fact of a matter?
Well, first of all, when you look down the roster, and I'm sure you guys have, I think they've got 6 or 7 redshirt seniors. So you got fifth-year guys who shave, and then you have a couple other seniors in the bit. So you have a senior veteran group of defenders that are out there. They're playing a 4-down front. They scrap, and they're big, strong, physical guys, and so we'll have a challenge moving them. Offensively, I think Stevens is a good quarterback, and they have one of the top receivers in the country, Higgins, and we had a very difficult time with him last year. And running game, they're kind of doing it by committee. They've had 3 different backs rotating in there, so pro-style offense, somewhat similar to what we do, quarterbacks under the center. More than usual compared to the teams that we have played. And so it'll be a great test for us.
Coach, with Tanner out, Jake has been able to score, I think, each of the last 3 weeks. What have you seen from Malhart, and what do you expect from him going forward? Well,
he's a guy that's got a big frame. And while he may not be, a 4.4 40 guy, the fact that he's, a good 6'5", and he will position himself well, that has really been utilized, and we'll continue to do that. Now, we've got to spread the ball around besides going to him, and that's one thing that, when we had Tanner and Jake both out there, you couldn't roll a coverage one way or another. So I think we'll need to utilize some of our other receivers, whether it's Jake Hollister at tight end or a couple of the other, James Price, or a couple of the other receivers we do have. But to say Jake is strictly a possession receiver is not accurate. I think the fact that he's a big, strong guy, you can throw the ball up, and he has an opportunity to bring it down.
After seeing Nick, you said last week you weren't going to change the offense for him, but after, getting more reps and stuff, do you feel like you can do a little bit more with him without divulging game plans? Do you feel more confident in that area with him?
Well, what was really encouraging, Robert, was he was able to go through a week's game plan and take a lot of the reps as a starter. And, I thought he played with a real great deal of composure. And as a result of that, we certainly can add more. We scaled things back, didn't want to put him in position where he was going to have an opportunity to be successful, and I thought that he did a nice job. So you'll see us open up the playbook more. It won't be significantly more, but you'll see us open up the playbook more with him this week.
What do you like about Higgins as receiver? Is it size? Is it speed? Is it a combination? What really makes him effective?
It is a combination. He can put his foot in the ground and go north and south. He's got great ball skills. He can break a tackle. He's got, great moves when he's coming in and out of his break. All those things make him a very, very challenging receiver. And, I know he went into this year as one of the top receivers in the country, and he's certainly going to be a challenge for us Saturday. Any other questions? Okay, thanks a lot, everybody.